Sahana vavatu, sahano punaktu, sahaviryam karavavahe, tejasvinavadidamastu, ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. What if Reiki is not simply a healing modality, but the beginning of a completely different relationship with life, a different way of perceiving, feeling, listening, even living? Many people first come to Reiki because they are stressed out, overwhelmed, emotionally exhausted, depleted, spiritually searching, or simply curious. But Reiki, if you receive healings or even learn it, begins opening doorways people never expected. That was my experience, and I've been involved with Reiki for more than 35 years now. Today I want to talk about how Reiki really changes you if you allow it. Namaste and welcome to the Spiritual Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra Savithri, Reiki Master, Vedic Healing Master and Priestess, Spiritual Guide and Director of the American Reiki Academy and the Vedic Healing Center. On this podcast, we explore Reiki, Vedic healing, manifestation, sacred space, feminine energy, spiritual awakening, and the deeper energetic dimensions of life. The aim of this show is to help you awaken, develop, and tap into your own spiritual power in order that you may live well, manifest your dreams, and ultimately fulfill your unique divine destiny. So today I'm going to speak about Reiki again and how it quietly opens us up not only to a healing modality, but actually to deeper awareness, a connection with the intuition, spiritual sensitivity, and transformation. Now, I first encountered Reiki more than 3 decades ago in a little town on the East Coast while I was studying in school, and I was led by Reiki. I was also led by my intuitive voice because I somehow allowed myself to move with those inner messages that were guiding me onto this path. And I honestly, at that time, I had no idea how profoundly Reiki would shape my life. At the time, I was just curious. So I sought out healing from a woman who would end up becoming my very dear spiritual mentor and dear friend. And what I didn't realize was that Reiki would eventually lead me into an entirely different relationship with energy, with consciousness. It would allow me to expand and grow as I moved into practices around spirituality, sacred space, meditation, mantra, pilgrimage, and really some deeper nuances of life. And this was really one of the most beautiful things that came out of the Reiki. Now, of course, learning it and applying it and sharing it with people has been wonderful too. It has been really remarkable. And sometimes I say it's so interesting to watch people's development with Reiki, but it's also interesting to watch your own development. Reiki one thing I want to say, Reiki will help you no matter what you are going through. There are no contraindications with Reiki. So some people come in because they're anxious, because they have a physical, mental, and emotional concern. They might be grieving. They might be spiritually curious. They might be just burned out and exhausted, and they've heard about Reiki. So but what I know to be true is that actually something inside of them is trying to wake up, whether they know it or not. So Reiki provides a very beautiful and gentle way of opening pathways over time. And especially if you choose to receive healings on a regular basis or delve into doing Reiki yourself. And I've watched people come in wanting Reiki simply for stress relief, and then slowly seeing how it changes them on a feeling level. They become more sensitive to energy, or not even that. It's actually that they start to acknowledge the sensitivity that was always there. They become more conscious, more aware. They might become more drawn to the healing arts, to meditation, to listening, actually listening to the intuition, because we hear people say a lot to follow the intuition, but I always kind of challenge people in class, how are you doing that? How are you really doing that? Are you receiving messages and following up on them, acting upon them? I think I said this in a previous episode. Maybe it was strictly on intuition. And so I'll write things down that come to me and keep those little pieces of paper on my desk. And sometimes it takes me a while to act upon them. But now I know without a shadow of a doubt that these are to be acted upon. Some people, and I'm not pointing fingers because I've done this too, never even get to the act of acknowledging that they received a message, or the extension of that, which is writing it down, because when you write it down, you bring it from your thought forms to the physical world. And also that little piece of paper becomes a reminder to do, to act. So Reiki is going to help you open up and become more aware of your intuition, of your body, of energy, of your thoughts, and which thoughts are serving you and which are not, of emotional patterns that you might be carrying. And it gives us a deep awareness of also the interconnectedness of all of us. It heightens your sensitivity, not in a bad way, in an innate way, in a natural way. We are meant to be sensitive beings, but often that sensitivity has been shut down, or we have steeled ourselves in order to navigate this world, to be in this world. Because when we are tuned in to our sensitive factors, sometimes the world can be quite overwhelming. But we also learn as healing practitioners how not to take on the pain and suffering that we're seeing. So Reiki, for me personally, opened a doorway into much deeper spiritual exploration and awareness. It eventually led me toward India, toward spiritual teachers, temple life, ashrams, mantra, yoga, meditation, Vedic practices, sacred rituals. And and really decades of inner work. So you can have all the external teachers. You can keep learning forever and benefit from that learning. But when you start to take that learning and apply it in daily practice, in that inner work, and it's not, the inner work is not only the let's say you sitting down in meditation, or you doing yoga asanas, or you establishing a regular practice. The inner work is also examining, taking note of the smooth areas in your being, and the areas that you might want to work on. So this is healing as well. Healing isn't only when you're lying on the table receiving body work. So, and beyond all of that, I'd say Reiki changed the quality of my relationship with myself. It taught me, as did my spiritual practice, again, because I always say Reiki is part of my practice, of a comprehensive practice. It taught me to slow down, to trust energy, to trust my intuition, to respect. Now, this is a big one, because you hear everywhere these days people talking about the nervous system. I never heard this phrase so much as I have in the last couple of years. Everybody's talking about calming the nervous system, calming down the nervous system. So Reiki and the practice, the spiritual practice, taught me to respect, understand, and actually be in communion with my nervous system. So, so many times we don't even know what that looks like. But when you start to receive body work, to do a spiritual practice, to do Reiki, to receive Reiki, and when I say receive body work, it can be different types of body work. But when you do this, you start to really recognize when something resonates with you, or when something feels off. It can be a little thing. It can be a conversation with someone, and you say, that is not in alignment with me, with what I wish to take in. See, everything you're surrounding yourself with is potentially being absorbed into your energy field. And that's why, obviously, like playing violent movies at home is not conducive to a calm energy field, because everything has the potential to enter your space. It is up to you to become discerning and to choose in every moment what you will and will not allow. This is the notion of boundaries also. And knowing that those boundaries are to be always honored. And also I want to say, not second guessed. If you feel this situation, this relationship, this kind of conversing is not supporting something positive in my space, just like the violent movies, then it is up to you to take a stand, and you don't have to declare it, but just say, this is not conducive to my own rhythm. And this is so beautiful when you start to get this great connection to yourself. See, much of our life teaches us to kind of override our intuitive senses, or makes us wrong or puts us down for being in touch with the intuition. We are taught to ignore inner signals, to stay very stimulated with action, to remain externally focused. But the spiritual practitioner, the healer, knows that the true power, the Shakti, comes from within and comes from slowing down and quieting down. And this is what Reiki gives us. I often tell people in Reiki classes that I love doing healings because doing a healing on someone, you benefit as well. You, the practitioner, benefit as well. It calms and soothes your energy field as well as the energy passes through you into the other person. This is a beautiful and very unique aspect of Reiki. And so it's to your benefit, if you are a healer, to do a lot of healings. If you don't have people to work on, and sometimes this happens when people first learn, they say, oh, nobody has any time to lie down and receive Reiki, then you do Reiki on yourself. And self-healing, honestly, is one of the first aspects of level 1 Reiki. You can also do Reiki, of course, on your food, on your water, on plants, on animals. It's all about tuning in and allowing this energy to flow and allowing you to create a relationship with this energy. It's like you're getting to know energy again. Essentially, what happens is Reiki is removing some of the interference standing between you and your deeper nature, your deeper awareness. I can't say Reiki is a magic solution to every life problem, but it is also a magical solution. Okay, so that sounds like an extreme contradiction. It's not a magic solution to every life problem, but it also is. Now, the reason I'm saying that is when we're trying to shift a problem in our lives, we want to see, first of all, we always want to see instant results. But second of all, we want to see the problem work out in the way we think it should. And when it doesn't, we say, oh, Reiki didn't work. But see, what's happening is when you're sending Reiki to a problem, the energy is helping that problem work out in the best way for you according to what is needed. This is where the idea of surrender comes in. So when we give Reiki, when we do a prayer, when we work with manifestation, we're always surrendering to the divine wisdom. Sometimes I say to people when they're working with manifestation, you put out there what you would like, and then you say, this or something better now comes to me. In such a way, you are acknowledging that you do not have all the answers, but you, in conjunction with the divine energy, do have the answers. They just maybe haven't become apparent yet. So you are acknowledging, it's like you've got a business partner. You've got a business partner, which is divine intelligence, and you are merging with that business partner. So the surrendering is, oh, I don't know everything. I need help. This is how we work with a deity when we chant mantras. So it's not that the deity form is doing everything for you. And it's a communion. It's a relationship with that deity form. So you chant to that deity form and you're accepting that energy as a business partner. I need your help, please. Now, in saying I need your help, you are surrendering your ego. You do not know everything. See, we can't exist in the world by ourselves. We might get really stubborn and think, oh, I can do it. I don't need other people. But we know ultimately we're here to interact with one another and help one another. So when you pray to whatever deity or guru or saint or angelic being you work with, whoever it is, you are accepting them as a business partner. You're saying, hey, I'm down here doing this business of life, and it's really challenging. I need your help because you're coming from a higher vantage point. So please help me and let me be clear enough to hear the wisdom that you are giving me. And Reiki is going to open up that channel for hearing, for intuiting, for sensing. Reiki creates space in the energy field to feel, to sense, to hear, to perceive, and to reconnect with the divine wisdom. So I think that alone is one of the incredible benefits of Reiki. It's creating space in your field. And I want to also encourage you never to underestimate small spiritual openings. Now, what I mean from that is sometimes a single Reiki session, a class, an interaction with a deity becomes the beginning of an entirely different chapter of your life. And I've said this before in past episodes when I take groups to India. I intentionally take people to sacred spots that I know have incredible energetic fields. And I always tell them, you may be in this temple for just a few moments, or let's say in front of the deity for a few moments, because usually we spend time in the temples. But you cannot know the value or the potency of those few moments spent in front of the deity. See, the deity, your altar, the energies that be that you work with are alive with power, and they are waiting for your interaction. That's why I always say the altar is a communion. You're communing with it. It's a relationship. Reiki also is like that. You are communing with this energy. You are allowing the energy to move through you and influence whatever problem you're working on, or if you're doing self-healing or working on someone else. So there's always this allowing, and in the allowing, there is power. So when you do your yoga asanas, you might be concentrating on the actual pose, but start to put your awareness also on the spaces in between the poses. There's a practice in Vedic healing that I teach, and my guru said let me see how he phrased it. He said, okay, in the space, it's a practice, and then there's a space, a gap that we do in between the actual breathing and visualization. And he would say, all of the curative powers are awake in your body during that space. So it's a space of just allowing. And this is really what Reiki is. There's the doing where you're placing your hands, but then there's the allowing. There's a great deal of space in Reiki. And this is what people sometimes maybe don't understand. We don't have to understand it either intellectually. We just have to be with it. We just have to be with it and experience it. And that's the mystery and the magic of working with energy. The space creates the healing. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sai Ram. Jai Guruji. Om Amriteshwariye Namaha. Hare Krishna. Om Namah Shivaya.